Alright, hello everyone. Um, I'm here. This is basically part two of the previous Gear 5 review. So I watched a new episode. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Um, I feel like that this is the one that we wanted. This is the Gear 5 episode that we should have had last Sunday, but I feel like this made up for it. It was really good. It was really well paced. They only did like, I don't know, like a total of like 3 minutes dedicated towards like the other characters, and most of it was just Luffy and Kaido fighting, which is what we wanted. The animation was outstanding, but I'm not that big into animation, so I don't really know how impressive that was. But that heartbeat scene, like where animation was outstanding, but I'm not that big into animation, so I don't really know how impressive that was. But that heartbeat scene, like where when Luffy de-transformed from Gear 5 but then went back into it, that was really good. That was really good. Honestly, like this episode, it kind of redeemed it, right? It was really good. Now, a criticism I would say is that they used way too many, like the eye-popping animation. Yeah, they used a lot of that, and honestly, I don't like that. Like, I understand it was like Looney Tunes, but I feel like they used it too many times. But towards the end, though, they after they did when everyone saw Luffy in Gear 5, they kind of calmed that down a bit, so I'm happy for that. The music was great. I forgot to say that in the last one. The music was great. But yeah, overall, it was a very, very solid episode. And however, after seeing it, it just makes me wish that what they did instead for the previous one was that they combined this episode and the previous episode. And I know I said this in the last review, but I honestly, if they combine them, they just put if it was just like Gear 5 instead of they took out the Orochi stuff, they saved all that for later, right? If they just combined this and the last episode and they only made it 40 minutes, realistically that wouldn't be 40 minutes, it'd be 30 minutes because intro and all of that. Honestly, that would have been better. They didn't reuse animation, which was great. I was afraid that this was gonna have a lot of reanimation, but it didn't. So I'm very, very happy with that. Let's see, what was another complaint that I had earlier? Didn't reuse animation. They kept the focus on Gear 5, which was great. That's a pretty big one. They didn't have any really long flashbacks, which was really good as well. I was afraid that we were gonna have long flashbacks. Yeah, this episode was really, really good, really good. However, I feel like this is going to be the end of what we're going to see with Gear 5, though. Well, in terms of it being the focus, because I watched the outro, or a preview of what's happening next episode. It seems like Gear 5 is just going to be a side component, and then the main crew is going to be doing stuff, which kind of sucks. I was hoping that, and I know the anime is just following the manga, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll just be like this episode, and Gear 5 will still play the main role, but maybe they'll just be 5 minutes of the other crew doing stuff, because that's what it looked like. That the next episode is going to be focusing on the stuff that's happening in the castle instead of the actual fight from Gear 5 Luffy. But I mean, that's okay. This episode was good. This episode was good. I'm just hoping that they don't end it next episode right with that. I'm hoping to get one more at the finale of Kaido versus Luffy is this. It was this episode, because that'd be really good. because if they ended it next episode with like 5 minutes of it being about the crew, and or like even like 10 minutes being about the crew, and then Luffy finishes the fight in like 5 minutes, I feel like that would kind of suck. That would be like a weak ending to Gear 5 Awakening. Um, I do know this though. I have been a little bit spoiled. So a little bit of spoiler for Egghead arc, right? I know Gear 5 Luffy is used in Egghead arc, and he fights Lucci. All right, that's the end of the spoilers, but he fights him, and I know that apparently Gear 5 then is also really like a lot better there as well. I don't want to say better because I haven't heard it's better, but I've seen like apparently he does more crazy stuff, which is cool. Unfortunately, we're not going to get Egghead arc in like the next year or so. I don't think, unless we will, because I feel like they're going to put some filler in there or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, this episode was really solid. Really good. On what I said earlier, I'm actually going to combine on my YouTube channel. I think it'll be like later today or something. I'm going to combine this like last episode's Gear 5 and this episode's, so that it's all like one thing. I don't think Toei will let me do that. I'll be honest with you. So if you guys don't see it up in the future, just know that like YouTube said no. So, but I'll try to do that. And if they let me put it up, because I know sometimes they'll let stuff like that pass by. So I'm gonna see if I can do that, and if I can, that'll be great. And then hopefully. Yeah, like I'll watch it myself to see if it would be better. Cause mind you, I'm just speculating, but I think it would be. But other than that though, really really solid episode. Um, I liked the reactions from the other characters when they saw Gear 5. They didn't spend too much time on it, right? They didn't spend too much time on um, other people like either being like, oh, Luffy can't do it, blah blah blah, right? It was just, oh, they see Gear 5. What the fuck is that, right? So very cool stuff. Yep. Kaido. The thing with Kaido is I'm a little confused with him because he stayed in dry. I feel like and this is not for like the episode. This is just in terms of character. I don't know why Kaido didn't immediately go like on his like beast form, right? I thought that was weird because it didn't really make any sense to me. Like, because like if you think about it, like Gear 4, you had to go like I'm not sure if he had to, but he went like that, like the combined form where like he still had his human body, but he also had some dragon parts as well. He had to do that for like Gear 4, or like like Luffy when he found out how to use that haki, right? Like the advanced armament haki, or Ryu. I don't know I don't know why when he saw like, oh, this is awakened Luffy. I don't know why he didn't immediately just go into that form. I don't know why he stayed the dragon form. That didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but that's just a minor thing because I just wanted to see a more intense, fight. But I'm also glad about this. I'm glad that Luffy is not immediately destroying, Kaido. Because and this is just a callback to a previous arc, but in Dressrosa, right? They played out Gear 4 for a while, and it was a new form, right? And I felt like Gear 4 Luffy should have immediately bodied Doflamingo. That episode, like it should have ended that episode when Luffy turned Gear 4. But I'm glad that this isn't the case with Kaido, simply because of two reasons. Number one, he's the Emperor of the Sea, right? And if Luffy went Gear 5 and he could instantly body Kaido, I think that would um, put Luffy. Like, I understand like the power scaling of it, but I also like how it shows Kaido could actually fight back against Gear 5 Luffy. Now, I've seen a lot of things that if you put full power Kaido versus full power Luffy, like Gear 5 and everything, Kaido would win. I would disagree. I would disagree on that. Because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Kaido versus Gear 5 Luffy, that's not fair because Kaido was already fighting a lot, right? Mind you, Luffy got knocked out like 4 times. And he's in Gear 5 and he came back from the brink of death. Or he did die. So, it changes depending on who you ask. But as things stand right now, I think Gear 5, like full power, would be Kaido full power. Barely, barely. But I think it would happen. Just because I feel like by the time Luffy went Gear 5, they both had an equal amount of like damage dealt to them. Because like Luffy got knocked out like 3 times, and Kaido never went down. He did suffer wounds, right? But they were in like by like Zoro, right? And he also fought Luffy when he achieved the regular hockey, right? But I feel like Kaido did enough damage to Luffy where they're like kind of on similar terms, right? So I feel like Gear 5 Luffy takes that. Anyway, yeah, that really sums up my review. Um, expect that video of the full Gear 5 versus Kaido fight if Toei or YouTube doesn't take it down. Hopefully they won't. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode or this review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah. I'm not gonna do any more. I don't think I'm gonna do any more reviews for One Piece until maybe Egghead Island. Maybe I'm not entirely sure. Unless something drastic happens between like the end of the Kaido fight. Like I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll just do a whole thing of Wano, depending on how this video does. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.